True story. I actually, when I was playing junior football, league football in Kirkwood, a kid named Jeff Cogan and I were talking, and he said, I am going to be a vet when I grow up. And I said, I think I'm going to work at a newspaper. And we were, I think, 11 years old. And Jeff now owns Clark Animal Hospital in Kirkwood. He's a veterinarian, and I have worked in some way, shape, or form in a newspaper since I was in 9th grade. First journalism job was for the Kniford Junior High School newspaper, The Beacon. Then I worked for the Kirkwood Call when I was in high school. 1977, Greater St. Louis Association of Black Journalists had a chapter here. And they decided to create what they called urban journalism workshops. And black journalists in radio, television, and of course print put it together. And it was all black students from throughout the St. Louis region. They were hard on us, okay? Gerald Boyd and George Curry from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch read our copy like they would have read a reporter's copy who was a professional. We were in high school. Man, they'd hand stories back to me that I thought were great, and there were just red marks all over it, and are you kidding, and this is on drugs, and just all these sayings on it. This is like, they were hard on us, but they got across to us that you're going into a hard profession. And they knew that we were going to go into newsrooms where we might be the only black person there, which was true for many of us when we got our first jobs. But we were prepared. From there to college, University of Daly, Kansas. I went to University of Kansas. At the homecoming concert my freshman year was covered by the University of Daly, Kansas. And it was Natalie Cole and Ashford and Simpson and Michael Henderson, you know, a lot of black artists. And the review on it was very stereotypical. Those of us who had, you know, newspaper experience were talking about it in the dorm, and different groups of us had actually gone to the Kansas office to discuss this article. So the Kansas decided to have like a little town hall, I think a week later, and there was about 400 black students there. It later came up that, you know, well, why don't we start it? And so we created a African-American newspaper called The Clarion. Actually, that would have been the first black publication I worked for. After that, Danville Commercial News was my first professional newspaper. And from there, I became the business editor at the Lansing State Journal, Lansing, Michigan. From there, I was a state editor at the Arkansas Gazette in Little Rock, Arkansas. I went to USA Today, Baseball Weekly, and then I was a senior editor at Emerge magazine, an African-American news magazine that was also in Washington, D.C., before coming back to St. Louis. I got a job at the St. Louis American. This would have been fall of 1996. You know, I didn't seek to like be the editor of the St. Louis American. That just was one of those things that just, you know, kind of happened. Right when you finish one, the beauty is you get to start another one. And while that sounds bad, job satisfaction-wise, I know that this is a great field to be in. But I really enjoyed covering all aspects of the black community, and I also enjoyed the response that we got from people that were appreciative, and also people that weren't that appreciative, because we did do, you know, we covered the election races, we covered when people got in trouble, but we also made sure that achievement, you know, black achievement is still a significant part of what we do, because we want to tell positive stories about the African American community, and quite frankly, you just don't get a lot of that in mass media right now.
Seems fair to me. Why is everybody so tone deaf to what really is going on in the world?
Whenever I'm on television, I feel like I'm a kid in a candy store, because I think this is fun. And I know people think this is work, but I never worked for a news station. So I've always thought that whenever I was on television, that's why I smile all the time when I'm on TV, because I'm really having such a good time.
Like I'm always saying, it's funny how that worked out.
But now, one thing that I don't shy away from, that I think others do, and maybe you're not supposed to say this, I do realize that I am the only black person on this show. I do realize that I have a responsibility to other black people in this city and in this nation to be as good as I can, to espouse what I truly believe, and if that means that black people don't agree with me, that's even more important. So yes, I understand what my responsibility is. I always have.